Welcome to another Tomcat video all about LPG, and in this video we're going to be looking at these things. So we're going to be looking at caravans and camper vans. So this is going to cover things like residential park homes and LAV or leisure accommodation vehicles. So let's get on with it. Now, if you're looking for a training manual to go along with these videos, why don't you check out Viper Gas? So they produce a hard copy like this one, or you can download the app and you can get this direct to your smartphone. So I will put in the description down below all the information you require to get in touch with Viper Gas. A holiday caravan is a transportable leisure accommodation vehicle that does not meet the requirements for construction and use of a road vehicle. These accommodations are used for temporary or seasonal occupation. This means they are designed specifically for holiday accommodation on licensed caravan holiday parks. Because of their size and weight, they are delivered to the park by road transporters and they are manufactured to BS-EN 1647. The wheels on these caravans are there to solely manoeuvre them while they're being put in position when they've been delivered to the caravan park. The LPG systems in these type of vehicles are covered under BS-EN 1949. The BS-EN 1949 2021 regulations replace the previous BS-EN 1949 2011 plus A1 2013 version, which has now been withdrawn. And the safety ventilation requirements are covered by BS-EN 721. Any gas chimney flues should be designed and constructed to BS 5440 Part 1 and their flue terminals to BS 715, which was partly replaced by BS-EN 1856 Part 1 2009 and BS-EN 18562 2009. Like permanent dwellings, residential park homes and most holiday caravans are supplied with bottled gas. But some larger caravan sites use bulk storage tanks. Low pressure flexible hose up to 50 millibars complying with BS 3212 Type 1 is commonly used to connect the outlet of a changeover device or regulator to the fixed rigid internal installation gas pipework. It is marked low pressure LPG and is coloured black. High pressure flexible hoses up to 17.5 bar comply with BS 3212 Type 2 and is used to connect the cylinder to the regulator or the changeover device. It is marked high pressure LPG and is generally coloured orange, although black hoses may be used for prefabricated assemblies with crimped or swage ferrules. High pressure hoses should be a minimum practical length to facilitate the safe replacement of cylinders and should not exceed 1 metre. If the installation comprises of 4 or more refillable cylinders connected to an automatic changeover device, an overpressure shutoff valve or an OPSO valve will also be required. But in March 2021, Liquid Gas UK, the industry body for the LPG industry, issued its latest consumer guide in the form of Consumer Guide Sheet 39, which is Regulators Safe Use. The review saw the introduction of more safety-focused standards that recommended that overpressure shutoff valves or OPSO valves should be fitted to even a single bottle installation in most domestic and commercial premises, including holiday homes, mobile homes and static caravans. Any existing installations should be updated to include the regulator incorporating the OPSO device. A motor caravan, which is often referred to as a motorhome, is a self-propelled leisure accommodation vehicle that meets the requirements for the construction and use of road vehicles. They incorporate a living accommodation similar to that of a touring caravan, but they are built on the base of a motor vehicle or van, therefore designed specifically for touring. They are built to BS-EN 1647 and contain at least a table and seating that may be converted into sleeping accommodation, cooking appliances and storage facilities. Road-going caravans and motorhomes are fitted with cylinder housing lockers to house one or more of the LPG cylinders. The UK campervan gas regulation states that campervans can carry 2 cylinders with a maximum capacity of 16 kilograms each. BSEN 1949 states the installation of 2 LPG cylinders is permitted as long as the cylinders can be installed in the same compartment and a warning label is fitted in the cylinder compartment indicating which appliances is supplied by each cylinder. Ensure that all gas is turned off before travelling commences. A campervan gas locker must have a dropout vent, and that dropout vent must not be covered by the campervan gas bottle. The dropout vent must be at least 2% of the floor area of the campervan gas locker. This must be installed at low level only with a minimum provisions of 100 centimetres squared. A typical 50mm dropout vent will provide 800mm squared of free air. For high and low ventilation, the free area must be equivalent to 1% of the floor area of the locker, with a minimum provision of 50 centimetres squared at each level. On internal access compartments only, a cylinder less than 7 kilowatts can use a 20mm dropout vent. BS 5482 Part 2 requires the housing to be ventilated at high and low level direct to outside, with suitable grills that are as large as practical, but with free area of not less than 1/100th of the housing floor area. However, high-level ventilation may be omitted where the low-level ventilation is increased to 1/25th of the floor area. Motorhome cylinder lockers tend to be accessed from the side of the vehicle. The fixed working pressure of a campervan gas system must be 30 millibars. The maximum flow rate for 30 millibar regulator is 1.5 kilograms per hour. The pressure regulator can be fitted directly on the cylinder, wall-mounted or slide-out tray. Also, they must be installed inside the compartment with the cylinder. Refillable LPG gas cylinders are available for use in place of pre-filled cylinders that are exchanged every time they become empty. Once purchased, they become the property of the purchaser. This type of cylinder must include a system to ensure no more than 80% maximum fill capacity and fitted with a safety cut-off valve to prevent overfilling. The tank filling point must be located on the outside of the vehicle and must not be located within 500 millimeters of the ventilator servicing the inhabitable living space or a flue outlet. The filling pipe is not permitted to pass through any habitable area of the vehicle unless it passes through a duct or sleeve that is sealed from the habitable side from where it passes. They can be refilled at the same garage forecourts that sells autogas LPG via specialist filling equipment. Some motorhomes are fitted with fixed refillable LPG tanks underneath the vehicle that can be used to provide heating and cooking services within the vehicle. The tanks are required to comply with the Road Vehicle Construction and Use Regulations 1986. The details for the NCC Code of Practice 306, which has been withdrawn, are currently available as Liquid Gas UK User Information Sheet number 31, which will give you all the information on the installation, maintenance, repair and decommissioning of fixed tanks underneath motorhomes. Refillable cylinders are required to be marked with the following information: a danger warning symbol for cylinders up to 60 litre water capacity, the UN number of which propane is UN 1978 with text of at least 6 mm high, the date of the original or the last periodic inspection with the inspection body's identification number, and the tear weight and date year when the next periodic inspection will be due. The tank should be replaced where an inspection reveals any cracks in the tank wall, any intercepting cuts or gouges, or where cuts or gouges is across a tank weld, any cut or gouge found within a dent or depression, any dent where it exceeds a quarter of the width of the tank in any point, or a cut or gouge in the surface where the depth exceeds 0.3 millimeters. It is unsafe and illegal to refill an everyday exchange only gas bottle at a petrol station or any other LPG filling station. To assist with this understanding, Liquid Gas UK has issued 2 customer guidance sheets. In Guidance Sheet 24, they advise that the user or the owner of the portable LPG cylinders should not be refilling at autogas refueling sites. The reason given for this advice is that the safe filling of LPG cylinders requires appropriate expertise and/or equipment. In Guidance Sheet 37, it provides more general advice regarding operating and refilling. Ultimately, the filling of freestanding cylinders is at the discretion of the filling centre or station. The maximum length of the high pressure hose is 400 mm and should be routed to avoid stress on the joints. Replace any hoses that are damaged or showing signs of wear, stiffness or cracking, and rubber hoses should be replaced every 5 to 10 years depending on the manufacturer. Flexible hoses for use in caravan holiday homes and road-going vehicles must comply to BS EN 16436 and cooker hoses must comply with BS EN 14800. Rubber hoses marked BS 3212 or stainless steel convoluted hoses marked EN 10380 can also be used. A touring caravan or a towed caravan is a trailer-type leisure accommodation vehicle as seen on the road being towed by cars, pickup trucks and vans. These caravans are required to meet the requirements of construction and use of the road vehicles to BS EN 13878. Where an appliance is designed to be in operation while a touring caravan is in motion, an excessive flow valve must be fitted to ensure the LPG supply is isolated in the event of an accident. Often, towed caravan lockers are fitted at the front of the vehicle over the A-frame arrangement. The size of the housing will dictate the maximum size of cylinders that can be accommodated in the lockers. The housing will be fitted with restraining devices to ensure that the cylinder is always kept upright so that the cylinder valve is always at the top. This ensures it is only ever subjected to the gaseous phase of the supply. A maximum of 2 cylinders of not more than 11 kilograms each can be fitted. BS EN 1949 states that the installation of 2 LPG supplies is permitted providing the cylinders can be installed in the same compartment and a warning label is fitted in the cylinder compartment indicating which appliance is supplied by which LPG cylinder. Some housings are fitted with a slide-out tray mechanism to assist with the access and the exchange of the cylinders. If the road-going vehicle has a slide-out tray, it will require a readily accessible and labelled shut-off valve. The hose assemblies cannot exceed 750 mm and an excessive flow valve will be required. All methods for securing the cylinders must be undoable without using tools. Electric cables can be routed through the compartment, but there must be no exposed joints in the cable, trunking or conduit. Extra low voltage wiring can only be used on gas controls. Any holes in the compartment except for the ventilation holes must be sealed. Cylinder compartments can be accessible from inside the living space as long as they are sealed when closed to ensure no gas can leak into the camper. They should also have a minimum fire resistance rating of 20 minutes, complying with BS 476 Part 8. The bottom of the opening must be at least 50 mm above the bottom of the LPG cylinder compartment. The door to this hatch must always be accessible. The compartment must not permit the storage of more than 2 times 11 kg cylinders. The ventilation to the compartment can be a single vent, providing the combined capacity of 7 kg is not exceeded. This vent must have a minimum internal diameter of 20 mm. If a duct is attached to the ventilation opening, it must be LPG resistant, positioned in low level in the floor, running to the outside of the vehicle and falling through its length. The maximum length of the duct must not normally exceed 5 times the internal diameter of the duct, but may be extended to 10 times the internal diameter of the duct if it is necessary to avoid on-the-floor flue outlets. The housings and protection requirements for LPG cylinders in all leisure accommodation vehicles is dependent on the British standards to which they were originally built, which is determined by the original date of the manufacture. British Standard 5482 Part 2 applied until February 2003, whereas after this date BS EN 1949 applies. This newer standard imposes greater requirements. Therefore, when working on leisure accommodation vehicles, it is important to establish the date of production of the unit, which can be determined by referring to the National Caravan Council or the NCC data plate, which should be located close to the main entrance door. For vehicles built to the requirements within BS 5482, cylinders fitted outside a mobile vehicle were required to be secured and located within a built-in housing or securely fixed onto the drawbar. Any housing is required to be constructed from a material having a minimum of 20 minutes fire resistance. Cylinders and regulators located within a housing should only be accessible from outside of the vehicle and sealed from the inside. The housing should have a notice on the outside to show the presence of LPG cylinders. To BS EN 1949, to prevent the entry of exhaust gases into the housing, any thermal shield fitted to the underside of the vehicle are required to be fitted at least 25mm away from the base of the housing. In addition, unless a thermal shield is fitted where an exhaust passes by the housing, they are required to be a minimum of 300mm below or 250mm from the vertical side of the housing. Gas appliances must be suitable for use in camper vans and have relevant instructions. Cookers and hobs must have secure burner caps. And never use your cooker for heating the caravan, even if your heater is broken. Heating and hot water LPG appliances must be of the room sealed type, so the combustion inlet air must come from outside and the exhaust outlet must vent outside. They must not use air from inside the vehicle for combustion. Space heaters have 2 air ducts routed to the outside of the vehicle. 3-way fridges have exterior side vents in the vehicle. Residential park homes can be fitted with LPG room-sealed combi boilers. Caravans can be fitted with open fluid water heaters. All open fluid water heaters must have an overall flue length of at least 600mm and at least 250mm of its length must be external to the caravan. Any open fluid water heaters must not be installed in bathroom or shower rooms. Only room-sealed fluid appliances can be installed in these rooms. They can also be installed with open fluid fires, such as the Whitney fire. Most modern caravan and camper fridges are absorption fridges with no moving parts. They use 1 of 3 power sources, a gas flame, a mains electric or 12-volt element from the car's electrical system when the engine is running. The latest models have an automatic setting which selects the most appropriate energy source. Caravan and campers refrigerators can operate on both types of LPG. But it is important that the gas pressure shown on the data plate corresponds with the gas regulator. Because of safety risks, it is strongly recommended that you do not operate on bottled gas whilst on tow. A naked flame is prohibited at petrol stations, motorway service areas, in most tunnels and on ferry crossings. The National Caravan Council stipulates that all new caravans and motorhomes submitted for NCC certification should be fitted with CO alarms as standard. As part of their original build, residential park homes are required to be fitted with the following safety alarms: a smoke alarm conforming to BS EN 14604 and at least 2 CO alarms conforming to BS EN 50291 Part 1. Where a residential park home or a leisure accommodation vehicle is rented out or the public have access to the dwelling or vehicle, the Smoke and Carbon Monoxide Alarm Amendment Regulations 2022 require that the hirer or the landlord to ensure a smoke alarm is fitted in each unit where it is used as living accommodation. Like residential homes, cookers are exempt from the CO alarms, but all other fixed gas appliances require a CO alarm in any room used as living accommodation. Appliances fitted in caravan, holiday homes and road-going vehicles shall be protected by a device that prevents the pressure going greater than 150 millibars. The total appliance consumption and pressure regulation system installed in a caravan, holiday home or road-going vehicle shall not exceed 1.5 kilograms per hour. When installing pipework in a leisure accommodation vehicle, capillary type fittings must conform to BS EN 1254 Part 1 and shall be hard soldered. Soft solder should only be used on static caravan installations, not leisure accommodation vehicles or boats, but only if the operating pressure does not exceed 75 millibars. In all installations, the solder must have a melting point above 450 degrees C. When using compression fittings, the olive will need to be annealed copper olives. Brass olives should not be used because they may be prone to cracking when frosting occurs. Medium density polyethylene or MDPE pipe is not permitted in caravan holiday homes or road-going vehicles. Copper press fit fittings for gas must conform with BS 8537. Pliable corrugated stainless steel tubing should comply with BS 7838. Now that's my look at caravans and campervans or residential park homes and leisure accommodation vehicles. Don't forget, if you need a training manual to go along with these videos, don't forget to check out Viper Gas. I will leave a link in the description below. Anyway, hopefully you've liked the video and I'll catch you on the next LPG video. Cheers!